Hey, hello, this is Timo, and this is another video of my project where I'm talking and building my old Lego. Today we're not going to build, we're going to do a catalog. One of the old nice catalogs that I still own. First of all, for this new kind of videos, I have a new setup. I talked already in earlier videos about it, that I wanted to make it possible to have a top shot, like a vertical shot from above. And I was thinking a lot about how to do that, to build a kind of construction over the table, but I just found out it was a lot of hassle to do so. And then I browsed a bit on the internet, and I found out that the thing that I needed was just like it's so-called a C tripod, like a tripod with a horizontal axle also. So you can just hang stuff. And it's actually meant for lighting, for lights, but yes, I just hang my camera there, and yes, as you can see, this is the result. It's a nice straight shot on the topic of the day, the catalog of '94. And yes, I was thinking where to start, which of the catalogs. The oldest catalog I think is from '86 that I own, and the last one is from '99. And I was thinking, well, it's the first video that I do about a catalog, so let's not pick out the most interesting year, because maybe I make some mistakes in this video, and then let's save the more interesting catalogs of the more interesting years for later on. But still, '94 was also, of course, an interesting year. I did some preparation because I was thinking it's nice maybe to give you a reference about what major things actually happened in that year. I mean, outside of the Lego universe, just in the world. So I think the way I'm doing it is just I just start browsing through the catalog, and I will just mention some major events that happened in that year. And of course, I will also talk about what we see and my memories about it. Let's see how that goes. And I just wanted to say first, like, I don't know if you can see it on some of the cameras, but I made a kind of canvas. Like, I put some tape so I know exactly where the camera is filming. And yes, so that's some preparation. '94, I think it was one of the first years that the Lego catalog became really, I don't know if they already started doing this with computer effects, but where all the catalogs till '93 had still like a kind of static front, like a kind of still life. I think '94 was the first year, the first catalog where they had this action in it. As you can see, there's like kind of buggy, a car jumping over a gap, and all the major, I guess all the major new sets that came out are represented here. Yes, and I remember this tribe people, these tribe figures. And yes, of course, the minifigures started to have more and more unique printed faces. So, and that's what I remember. Every Lego catalog always started with this kind of family, showing that Lego has something to offer, of course, for kids in different stages, kids in different ages. And of course, starting with the Duplo for the very young kids, and then showing that you actually can combine Lego with Duplo. And then, yeah, starting with the Lego system. I think they don't use that brand anymore, Lego system. It's just, everything is just Lego now. Then I suppose they also wanted to show that there was something also for girls available. And then it kind of ended up with a more older kid playing with the Lego Technic. And that's a bit like how the entire family got satisfied with toys. Yes, Duplo. I actually always consider Duplo a bit like a different toy, although it's also part of Lego and it's also compatible. You can also combine it. Not all the bricks, but the major classical Lego bricks and Duplo bricks, you can combine it, like it was also shown on this page. And that's actually a trick if you have to build like big constructions like a mountain or something, then it's always more affordable just to make the base with Duplo bricks. Yeah. So I had also Duplo, but I think that's the only thing of my Lego that I just got rid of in 95 or at some point. I also don't really remember that I really played with it, but I remembered that what I just mentioned, that I combined it with Lego to fill up insides that you don't see. I remember one time I made a big statue or a robot or something, and then everything that was not visible I filled up with Duplo bricks. But now, since I have a kid, she started actually playing with this stuff. Yeah, they offered everything also for little babies. I don't know if they still do that, but yeah. And then that's still the Duplo. It's all Duplo. So that's the only part of the Lego. I don't have really exciting stories about it, as you already see. Maybe that's also a point. If there is a page that is not that interesting for me or for me to talk about, maybe I can just also talk a bit about the year 94 in general. So in February 12th of February, I just picked some events, major events from 94 from Wikipedia, which also had some importance for me, or maybe were so big that it was just important to mention. So, and in February 12th of February 94, the Winter Olympics started in Norway, Lillehammer. And I think for a lot of Dutch people are still quite into the Winter Olympics, because we have two major sports in Holland, and which of course is football and soccer for the Americans, and ice skating, speed skating. And 94 was an important year, or those Olympics were important because first of all, so there was the classical ice skate, and it has just a piece of metal fixed on the shoe. And after 94, they introduced a new invention. It was basically an ice skate with a system that just snaps open when you basically take off your shoe from the ice. and it just made the ice skaters go a bit faster, and that was just a new thing. And 94 was the last Olympics where they used the conventional old ice skate, and there was a specific match where a Norwegian guy called Johan Olof Koss just shocked all the skating people, because so the Dutch people were always kind of winning. They were always on the winning side, and then he just showed off his skills. And I just remember as a kid, I think a lot of Dutch people were just totally amazed by this Norwegian guy taking the stage, certainly, and skating like a very muscular, well-trained athlete. And that was the year of the Olympics, and that's what I remember of it. Started in February 12, and we continue with the Duplo. And there's I don't think Lego still has so much Duplo, because it's already the third page of Duplo with a lot of animals. And when I was still playing with the Duplo, it was I think not that diverse. It was more focused on the classical Duplo bricks, and I see a lot of animals here, and cars, and and they also had this farm. I remember I never had it, but I had some friends that had this farm. Just everything that the kid needs. So there's already the fifth page of Duplo. I'm really surprised that there's so much Duplo, because I always remember that the catalogs only had like 2, maybe 3 pages of Duplo stuff, but it's already the fourth, I don't know. But the kids get a bit older, so maybe the next page will be the switch to the Lego, that the kids are switching to Lego. And but everything was offered. Like this is also like a fire guard, and like a little airport police station. So I'm checking my list, and I see there's a new the next major event in 94 is also not a very happy event. So maybe I should just quickly browse through the Duplo part, because I feel a bit like it's a bit odd. Well, actually, this is Duplo trains, and I was really into trains, but I think I never owned Duplo trains. They were just never, I never had them. I only know that friends had them, but they had the older Duplo trains, because the tracks I remember were black, and I know these gray tracks came after. But I think this set even had a motorized locomotive, which was quite special in Duplo, because it was all like pull and push trains. So but it's just what actually is very funny is that you can see the fashion of the 90s. These kids are wearing things that would just be totally ridiculous now if they would wear stuff like that. Maybe only for like comedy movies, But it's very interesting, very funny that those things were, fashion back then. Well, there's another page of Duplo. Yes, so there was also a special theme, a Duplo theme for girls. which I don't really get. I mean, I get it in the 90s, but I know Lego still has these girls teams, and in the same time they're really promoting this more like equal stuff and unisex stuff, you know. So I think Lego is always a bit I mean, back then in the 90s it was more, you know, a thing that you have like stuff for girls and stuff for guys, for boys, but yeah, they still have that, and now now we live in a time actually that, I mean, my daughter is also just playing with all kind of toys, not only the toys that are made for girls, you know. She's also just totally amazed by cars and all this stuff, you know. So I mean, back in the 90s it was maybe not an old-fashioned thing, but I think now still, if they just separate this all the time, you know, yeah, I don't know. I think it's on some point that kids start to be more interested in a specific gender related topics, you know. I totally forgot about this. So this was a kind of Cholo or Chulo. I really forgot about this. This was a kind of, you know, like Lego Technic. This was a kind of Duplo technique, I think. And I think it was not very successful because I remember it was only available for a couple of years and then just disappeared again, which is very interesting because I see a lot of interesting pieces, and I think it was quite an investment for Lego to develop this kind of Duplo team with these technical pieces. But yes, I don't know anything about this. So let's just continue with the year 94. So it's still in the Duplo corner, but yes, April 5th of April. I think all people of my age remember what happened in April 94. Kurt Cobain died, and that was a really sad thing. And in 94 I still didn't know anything about Nirvana, but so I went to high school a year later, and then everyone owned a copy of Nevermind, and I think that's a bit the time that I found out about the singer and what happened to him. I don't remember anything on the news in 94 about that they announced that he basically killed himself. But yeah, that's the year what we are talking about, is what we see here. I mean, till now it was just only Duplo. There was also the year that Kurt Cobain died, and especially when you see the front, and then some way I have the feeling this is not 94, but it's more recently, this front. It's quite, actually I think they catch a quite modern look there, because what I remember from the 90s, it was all a bit still stiff and a bit like very colorful, but a bit stiff everything. So yeah, but that's what happened also. He was 27, born in 1967. Yeah. And then there is another topic, another event that I maybe just have to skip because former President Nixon died April 22. This is something I'm learning now at the spot, that when I'm talking about major events of a specific year, they are mostly sad. So that's in general a problem, I think, with news, is that news always mostly just shows sad stuff. So this is something I'm learning now, and I'm trying in with the next catalog of the next year, I don't know which year it will be, to find maybe also more positive stuff. Yeah, there's the first Lego page, and there again they show, don't worry, this is Lego, but you can still continue using your Duplo bricks. So that's a great message there. And I remember those boxes, and those were it was called Lego Basic 3+. And then, yes, those boxes had this classical Lego bricks, this 2x4 brick and etc. So not still the small pieces. They started off with the bigger Lego pieces, like some kind of changing period to playing with Lego. And those kids are a bit the same age still, like this kid. So President Nixon was long before my time. So but he died in April 94. Then we have Lego Basic 5+. So I really don't remember this. So they had like stages, like this is for 3-year-old kids, this is for 5-year-old kids. I guess there were more smaller pieces introduced in those boxes, in those sets. And then we had 7+. Yes, and those sets, I remember sets like that, but I have older ones of this. But those were basically sets with a lot of bricks, and you had the instructions for different kind of designs you could build there. Yeah. So in this Belleville, yes, I remember that one. So that was also again like a theme for girls. Everything pink, and there was also like a kind of new color around that time. They introduced pink, and I think it's also sometimes a bit like purple, so like 2 colors. And yeah, there's also this kind of yellow. It's something in between yellow and white, like a bit like beige. And some kind of darker blue, I think. This is not a normal blue. So this is also the time that they start introducing more different colors. I see also like a lighter pink here and here. And there were some figures that I really don't remember those figures. They were kind of bigger. They had more joints. I don't know about this Belleville, how long it was available. But I think it's actually in 94, as I can see, it's all new. So it must have been something new introduced in 94. And then you have another girl team, which is with normal minifigures, and that's called Paradisa. I know that there was this pink stuff, like with normal minifigures, but I don't remember this name. And actually, that's the first set of this catalog. I mean, the sets that came out on that year that I own, and I have no idea what's the history about this set, why I own it, because it's a girl set, so I don't know. But I think I was just interested in this pink bricks because I never saw them. So I think that's why I bought this small set. I don't think anyone gave this to me on my birthday, but I think I just bought it to figure out how this looks like, these pink bricks, you know. So this is the first set, and of course, when I own it, then it's also possible that I will build it on some point. And yes, but there were also like bigger sets available, and it was all a bit like for girls, and also like a bit like summer vibe, beach vibe, you know. There's some beach sets, and of course horses. Horses are always part of it, right? And there's a set that I just showed you. So, and there we start with the Lego City, Lego theme, Lego Town theme. And by the way, maybe you already noticed it. I don't know how much details you can see on this shot, but maybe you already noticed there's an interesting language used in this catalog. As I already mentioned before, I grew up in Holland, in the Netherlands, and so this catalog, of course, is all in the Dutch language. But as far I know, those catalogs were always the same in the different languages. They only translated everything. But yes, so there we start with the real stuff. I mean, what I found interesting back then. So there's a new airport came out that year, quite big, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of 6 base plates. So quite big set with a kind of terminal and a control tower and 2 aircrafts. And there is a set, didn't came out that year, but we had a video recently about this. I don't know the name because I only see the Dutch name here, the Redders. I think it was something like a rescue chopper or something. So I can only tell you right now the Dutch names of those sets. So May 6, while we go into the next page, May 6, the Eurochannel tunnel was opened, connecting Britain with France. That was a quite big thing, quite big project. They were building, it took them 7 years to build it. And I think it's something in the history that France and Britain often tried to do, but they always failed on this. But then it was successful, and they made a tunnel connecting Great Britain with France. And yes, in that same year, we are now on the second page of the Lego Town sets. And it's very nice how they put a scene, you know, and I guess try to show off as much as possible Lego sets in a kind of playing environment with a storyline. There's like a house and on fire, and of course the fire guards are there. But this house actually, I'm pretty sure it's not a set because it's way too big. I think this is the problem with Lego, that they had some houses, some apartments, but they never really had like big city blocks, you know. And maybe also, of course, because it's too much for one set, and not a lot of people would actually be interested in buying that, or the set would just get quite expensive. But with being a kid, you know, if you have some imagination, you can just look at a picture and try to reproduce it. But actually, most of the time, what you see is actually one of the sets. But I see also in the background, there's also like a skyscraper, which is way bigger than anything ever released in that time from Lego. So, but I see this set. There was a new set, an ambulance, which I also own, which is also coming soon, anytime soon, being built. And there's also this little I don't know what it is, like a little buggy SUV. Also a set that came out in '94 that I own. And there's also this police station, which was, I think it came out in '93, but I have it, and I also want to build that on some point. It's a quite big set, but I think I already completed now finding all the bricks of that set, all the pieces. So yes, that's something we can also do very soon. That will also be like probably a video which is split up in 2 or 3 parts, because it's big. Takes more than 1 hour video wise. Yes, and there's also this Chopper Cops, I think it's called in English. I also have it. This one I also have it, but those are sets that didn't came out in that year. And this rescue rig, and there's also a set. Yeah, but I think maybe let's just focus on the sets that came out that year. What I forgot to mention about April 27 is that South Africa had the first multiracial elections. And May 10th, the 10th of May, Nelson Mandela, I think everyone knows that guy. He became the first colored black president of South Africa. That's still the year '94. That's still what we're talking about. And yeah, I don't know how you experience this, but I'm actually amazed. I actually feel that this is not that long ago, because when I always think about events that happened in '94, like news events, then I see always like footage and images of it, and they're always a bit like quality-wise a bit shady, a bit VHS quality. And then I see this catalog, which looks quite new still, everything in the feel I have. And yeah, so that's interesting that's actually the same year. So it's the year that Nelson Mandela became president of South Africa. And that's just like a short amount of time after the apartheid was made an end, came to an end, the apartheid in South Africa. So yeah, just to have a perspective of how that went. So sets on that year. New sets, no, but I see some sets. Like this coastal guard that we actually were building already in a video before. And one of the first video is this Octan Speed Racer. I don't remember the name. It's a bit annoying. I see that those Dutch names are very different from the English ones. But this is actually a really nice set, like a harbor with plenty of boats, and even like a helicopter that can land on the water. And there was also like a gas station. Yeah, and I think '94 was still a year where you had these really nice sets, very basic things that every city needs, like a gas station, a police station. I don't think they didn't have a hospital. I think this was always a problem with Lego, that there was always too less attention for healthcare hospitals. And there are many countries on the world where there's still too less care about, too less attention for healthcare. So maybe it's a good representation of the world. Then we have some more city town stuff. And there's also a new set that I have here. A rafting boat. And I didn't check actually, but I think this rafting boat, there was this there was this movie called Riverworld with now I forgot her name, Meryl Streep, and this other famous guy. And as I remember, this movie came out, and then this canoeing and this rafting on wild rivers got very popular, at least in movies and in, you know. So, and I think that's why Lego also introduced this set, because they were just lifting, how you said it, surfing on the successful topic, you know, of this wild river rafting canoeing thing, you know, this wild sports. Yeah, so that's also something we going to build on some point. Yes, and then we have also a nice set here. Didn't came out that year, but still nice to mention it. I just pick out nice sets that I see, and if they are not from the year 94, then okay. I probably will not do the catalog of 93 or 96 just after this one. Probably I will choose a year, so then you don't have sets that, you know, that no overlap. You don't have sets that already are past in this one, you know. So if I have a gap of 1 or 2 years, then probably in the next catalog that we are looking at, there will all be new stuff again. Yes, a nice set. Oh, again, it's a bit based on a wild river, like a countryside, mountainish setting with a SUV and some, I think it's like a kind of sheriff or something, like a kind of a mountain police and a fisherman. And yes, and there's also a funny set. Actually, it looks like a really nice set. Actually, it's a small, cute set with a tiny van, and it's all about pizza, like a pizzeria, and it's like a pizza delivery. I don't think there was ever again or before a Lego set about a pizzeria. So yeah, I don't have this set, but that's actually some of the sets that maybe are interesting to check out on some point, if I can just order still those bricks and still build it together with you and make a kind of review. There's the other set, is Surf and Sail, it was called. We also did it in a video. Yeah. And then you have these floating boats that are, yeah, that was very nice, but those were always a bit like, the scale was always a bit bigger, and for some reason they were not really nicely compatible, like nice, not a nice combination with the normal Lego sets, because they are these huge pieces of plastics, these huge molds, because those boats were able to float in the bathtub or something. But I actually have this. I actually have this fire boat, and I'm actually thinking about how to do that. I was actually thinking about maybe when it's getting summer, I can find a place where I can also make it float in the water and see if it doesn't sink, something like this. But yes, I remember I actually played with it in a bathtub, and I remember there was also like, I saw it somewhere, it was like suggested by Lego, but it was not of the Lego brand. You could also buy this battery motor, which you could connect underneath the boat, and then it could also just move around a bit on itself. Yeah. So, all right. So, June 15, The Lion King was released. I mean the really old classical Lion King, not the movies that came after, but the really hand-drawn Lion King, which was, I think, in a time frame of 10-20 years, one of the biggest Disney cartoons movies. And I remember there was also this making of where they really used like real animals and recorded the sound of the real animals, and some great voice actors, you know. I don't remember the names of them, but yes, I remember, you know, going to cinema and watching those movies. So 94, and we are in a train team, and I have no idea how long this video is going to be, because this is the first time I'm doing a Lego catalog. But now we are ending up on the train team. It should get a bit more time because that was yeah, my thing. And I see actually there was a new set introduced, which I hardly remember because I don't have this set. It looks nice, this set. And yeah, a freight train set. And then there was also like a hybrid car vehicle to go off-road, to go on the road and to go also on the tracks. And some carrier for cars. Yeah. Those are all sets that I hardly remember. This set, of course, I remember. I have it, 93. This Octon tank car. Yeah. And of course, they always had really nice settings, like impressions of, and of course, the Metroliner was still available in 94. And yeah, because it was crazy popular, this set. And then those sets are actually all came out actually before 94. A train station, the Metroliner, which was already dating back to 91, like a sleeping car in the same style of the Metroliner, and some container cars. This is a nice impression of a station with the Metroliner on it. Yeah. And then July 5th, 94, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon. And we all know what happened then. He became one of the richest, I think he became the richest person in the world, and owning this giant company, Amazon. He just hit the right spot and found a way to make very good money. Pirates. I don't have a lot of pirate set, only small sets. But I guess I was not really into pirates, but I know, I think it was a really nice theme. And as I see it now, it's really nice. Very, very, very well done. Very playful. Nice big ships with flags and all the stuff, with sails, I mean. Yeah. And then we had those from the cover, those tribes on an island, and they were actually, as I see, they were actually placed in the time frame, in the era of the pirates. In my imagination, those tribes were not combined with the pirates team, but just a separate thing that was not related to any time of the history. But yeah. And then you had still pirates. I think the first page was actually the soldiers, the colonial force, and then the tribes from the island and the pirates with this nice ships with the sails and everything. Very nice. Yeah. And then we have the Knights and the Forest People. Maybe that was one of the last years that it was available, because on some point it was just finished with Knights and Forest People. But I think it was not my piece of cake, but I think it was for kids a really nice thing, with fortresses, and castles and a dragon. I think the dragon was actually introduced a bit later, because it's a full mold dragon. Yeah. Oh, no. So, October 14, Pulp Fiction was premiered or released. Great movie. I don't like all the Quentin Tarantino movies, but this first major breakthrough movie, I mean, yes, it's, if you watch it again and another time later again, it's actually really nice, really raw, really new, really playing with this time frame, like not chronological, like that's a great thing, and very, very famous scenes, very iconic scenes, iconic characters, Yeah. I still think that is one of the best Quentin Tarantino movies, this Pulp Fiction, because it was just so fresh, and so he didn't live still on his success, I think he was still a small guy, not very successful. I mean, I think he had one, I forgot the name of it, one movie that was also breakthrough kind of, but Pulp Fiction was really, really his start. And I think that's always mostly with artists before they had the breakthrough. I mean, the thing they make to have the breakthrough, then they are just so fresh and so new and so authentic, And of course, artists, always also musicians, they just lose this when they get successful, You cannot get around it, Lego Space Police. Yes, but I remember the Ice Planet team, which was is colorized very nice, very, very interesting. I think they even considered to make a monorail of this team, but it never came true. Yeah. And what I said already in many videos, Lego Space was one of the themes where they just introduced new pieces, new parts, So they actually had still a monorail. And this one I actually don't really remember. Yeah, it was the second space monorail, and I think it was the third monorail in general. We didn't see it, right? We didn't see, no. So the famous, I think this most famous wanted monorail, it's the airport shuttle. And it was introduced in 1990, but in 1994 it was already gone. So that's why it's such a collector's item, not available so much, Yes, so we had the monorail, and then Lego Space Sparius. I really don't remember that one. I think this robot was on the front. December 10, Nobel Peace Prize for Arafat, Peres, and Rabin. And talking about how things are going today in that region, it's quite kind of sad that nothing came out of that, really. But I think that peace agreement back then was already quite, I don't want to be too much political, but I think it was not very fair for both parties, and some parties were just kind of forced to take part of that peace agreement and sign it. So that's all I want to say about it. Nobel Peace Prize. It was still a Nobel Peace Prize, and that should be something, right? Yeah. Lego Technic. I think I mentioned it already before. I have some sets, but I don't really know why I actually bought those sets, because I never really was really amazed by it. The thing with Lego Technic, you just building it from the instructions, and you have to know really well how it works and what parts you have to also do more something about it, like to build also like your own designs. I never had that patience for this, I think. And yeah. And there should be somewhere this set. Well, where is it? Yeah, there's big trucks, and it's a really nice thing, Lego Technic. I mean, let's be clear about it. I mean, it's a very nice thing that you are building something and you see how it works and how things are constructed and the function of stuff, you know. It's a very smart thing, and it's like basically another kind of toy in the Lego universe, which for they developed totally new kind of pieces to make these things all work, like these cogwheels and everything, you know. Yes, that's a set that I have here to show, the last one to show you. And yes, I have this giant car. And as I just mentioned before, I don't really know why I have these kind of sets, you know, because they were quite expensive. And yeah, I guess I like to have this and to build it. I think the building experience was nice, but the thing is, what do you do after with such a car? You cannot also not really drive around with it or play with it as long as it's not motorized. I mean, I think today you have a lot of Lego Technic sets that are motorized, and then you can actually do something with it. But with this kind of set, yeah, you just put it somewhere. And I think that was never for me really the thing with Lego. I always also wanted to play with it. But yes, I have it. I still have to find a lot of pieces, bricks together for this set. I don't know when we're going to build it, and I don't know how I will shoot this video because it's a lot to build. But yeah, I know that it's also a quite wanted, famous set for some collectors. So maybe it will be a video that is very nice to watch for some people, you know. But honestly, it will not be very soon because I have other priorities, and to find all those bricks together, I still have a box with all the Lego Technic pieces that I still didn't sort out. I cleaned them, but I didn't sort out them because, like I said, it was just not really my thing. But I will do it at some point. Just only if it's for the people that are totally in love with Lego Technic. I will totally do that if I can make those people also happy. Yes, the last thing that happened in '94 that is a major event in my opinion is December 15th, Netscape was released. I think it was one of the first internet browsers. I don't know what happened to Netscape, but I remember I used it, and it was before Internet Explorer, I think. And I think it was an important thing because it was a tool, a way to get on the World Wide Web and to do everything there. Yes, and then you also had this drawing machine of Lego Technic. I don't know how much things you could actually draw with it. I feel it was also like something you could just use on a limited way, draw some straight lines, and then and that's the whole thing with Lego Technic. It was for me never really something important because it was still for the playing adventure experience. It was just still quite limited. And then the model team, yes, I remember it was always on the last page, on the cover page, the back cover page of Lego. I don't have any of the sets, but they always, also back then, they always looked very amazing, interesting. So I don't know if I ever had a chance to build one of those sets, but let's see. And yeah, all the major events of '94, I mentioned them. And that's the Lego catalog of '94. Maybe there was a bit like a rough, maybe a chaotic video, I don't know. Like I mentioned before, I have to figure out how to do this, how to film this, and what things I should talk about and what not. I know already the next time I will try not to talk too much about sad events, like people that died or something. I mean, that Kurt Cobain died, you cannot go around it, you know. If you talk about the year 94, what happened, in my opinion, Kurt Cobain was a big thing. And Mandela. But that was a happy thing, that Nelson Mandela became president. I saw him I remember one time in Amsterdam, I was still living in Amsterdam, and he was on the Dam Square visiting. I think it was when he was president, or just before, or just after. So I saw Mandela in real life. This small, this tiny, from very far, through a lot of crowd, a lot of people, because it was super popular, especially in Holland, because Holland always had a special relationship with South Africa, also of course because they had a colony there and they did some shitty stuff in the past in South Africa, like slave related and robbery stuff, like taking all the treasures, let's say. So I think that's why they had always like a kind of supportive attitude to South Africa, and especially to the resistance that fought against the apartheid, which was frontiered by Nelson Mandela. Yeah, and that's why he was visiting, I think, Holland. So yeah, I was on the Dam Square to see him. I went there and I wanted to see Nelson Mandela, and I got minifigures, Lego minifigure scale Nelson Mandela, but he was a bit more skinnier, I think, than a minifigure. 94, there was a year, yeah, like all those years. It's a memory, yeah. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel, it's very important. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon again in the next video. Goodbye.